All right. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? About ready to get this thing started. It's Hump Day. All right. As always, I'm going to throw the YouTube link into the chat. Please go along, follow along on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow the Facebook page. It's NFC North Talk with Russell Wayne. All right. Good morning, Rashnish. Chicago up, bear down. Good morning, Calvin. Good morning, Jason. Good morning, David. Good morning, Don. Good morning, Robert. Woo! Yeah, here we are. Welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen. It is NFC North Talk with your host, Russell Wayne. That is me. How is everybody doing out there? We are broadcasting live into the Villain Squad. Follow us on Facebook. We are broadcasting live into the YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's what helps make this thing go, makes it possible for me to come here and be a talking head for you, NFC North style. So whoever you are following, whether it's the Green Bay Packers, the Minnesota Vikings, the Chicago Bears, or the Detroit Lions, I appreciate every one of the listeners that come in here each and every morning at 11 a.m. where we talk footballs. Well, it's Wednesday, it's Hump Day, and what are we going to talk about today? So what I wanted to hit up was something that I had been thinking about, and I read an article in Pride of Detroit that had talked about being like, who is the biggest threat to the Detroit Lions out of the NFC North? Is it the Green Bay Packers? Is it the Minnesota Vikings coming hot off that win at 1-3? Who is the biggest threat? I mean, we know it's not the Chicago Bears. That's a dumpster fire over there. That actually surprised me. I thought that the Minnesota Vikings were going to be the dumpster fire this year, and I was wrong. It's the Chicago Bears. You disappointed me, Bears. You disappointed me. I mean, the whole thing is on fire over there, and I know that a lot of the Bear fans are wanting to, jump off, get into the Caleb Williams sweepstakes already. You got Justin Fields trying to throw the coaching under the bus, and I'm sure that the coaching's trying to throw Justin Fields under the bus. So I think that we can honestly take the Chicago Bears out of that conversation. So when it comes to the other two teams, because I was looking at some of these PFF stats, and it's like, I think it's a pretty good matchup when you think about that. You got the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers, going to be battling for second place for right now, as long as the Lions can keep winning. But the Lions were 3-1, down what I believed was the toughest 4 games in a row that they're going to have to play all season. So I'm feeling pretty good about where the Lions are at. I'm feeling pretty good because Haloti Pootie Vaitai was back practicing this week for the Detroit Lions. And I don't know if he's going to be available on Sunday, but I thought that injury was going to be like, going to like week 10 or something. So to know that he might be back in the next couple of weeks is pretty good. And if he's playing and we can have our full complement offensive line, I mean, look out, guys. I mean, that's a pretty strong offensive line. And we've been operating, with a revolving door at right guard. So the Lions are in a good place. Emmanuel Mosley hasn't even played yet this year, coming off of that ACL injury. It looks like he's trending to get his first work this year. I'm sure that he's not going to be starting yet, but that's a starter level cornerback that's being added to the Lions room right there. So I'm feeling good about where the Lions are at. So that's why I asked this question. Who's the biggest threat? Who is the biggest threat to the Detroit Lions in the NFC North? And if we've ruled out the Bears, I mean, I don't know if anybody in here might jump in here and say, hey, who's that? He says, who is that? If that dude didn't fix his mic, then I'm out. I don't know. It might just be me today. How does my mic sound, AJ? I would like to know that, because I did spend some money on this nice high quality stuff right here with my no budget. But Rob says that I think that the Packers are the biggest threat. And why would you say that? Why would you think that the Packers are the biggest threat? Because I'm looking at the teams right here, and in the PFF rankings, they have as a team, obviously the Lions are one, but Minnesota's the second best team according to the way that they've played, according to PFF, in a bunch of different categories too. So this isn't just me cherry picking, but as far as the overall goes, I watched the Minnesota game against Carolina. I think Carolina gets a bad rap because they are nasty up front. They do have some defensive and offensive linemen that will fight you. So I was impressed to see what they could do defensively. You got a couple good undrafted free agents over there that have balled out that I don't think anybody expected, like Ivan Pace, that's playing at a high level. There's a top 10 linebacker, Ivan Pace Jr. Green Bay looks like they're really hard. They're not good at stopping the run. The defense is definitely suspect. I know that a lot of Green Bay fans are out there calling for Joe Barry's head because they believe that Brian Guda, the GM from Green Bay, they believe that he's brought the talent in, that he did work a good trade for Aaron Rodgers and got him out of town. You got Jordan Love, who is suspect at best, but still, you're way behind the 8 ball on cap, and you're competing for this division. If you could do that, you'd feel pretty good, because next year the Green Bay Packers are going to have a dump truck full of money because they ripped the Band-Aid off and took a $40 million hit with Aaron Rodgers. So I think that's proving to be a pretty smart deal, because they're sitting at 2-2. They still have a good roster. They got a nice young roster in Green Bay. But the question is can they get it together? Can they get it together with the new, crop of guys that came in? Because you do have the youngest roster in the NFL. So I think it's a good fight. And I can't really wait to see them play each other. Green Bay versus the Minnesota Vikings. So Arashni says, alpha dog since when? We are the alpha dog right now because we're 3-1 and we're the head of the division, and we just truck sticked the Green Bay Packers, and the Chicago Bears are garbage. I mean, that should be 2 easy wins for everybody. They're going to go 0-6 in the division again, the Chicago Bears. So I say alpha dog. I'm trying to see who else is going to step up, because we just smacked the crap out of the other one. So, yes, the Lions are the alpha dog in the NFC North right now. Come get some. Come get some. The Bears, the Bears need a new coach and a QB. Well, apparently to Justin Fields, all they need is a new coach, because, I mean, if he was a better coach, then, well, obviously Justin Fields would be a better QB. Jason Smith says, my friend, who's the Bear fan making fun of his own team? I don't know. There's a bunch of them making fun of their own team. Aiden says, do you have the rank for the linebackers? I sure do, my brother. Let me go take a look at this. So if we're going by the game, with the Lions, let's go in here and look at the defense, and we can rank them by linebacker, right? Let me see. Trying to do that right there. Okay, the middle linebacker. So you got Alex Anzalone is an 81.1 overall. Derek Barnes looks. Oh wait, that's total defense. Hold on a second. Yeah, I got the right thing right there. Bam. All right, let's see. Looking at these linebackers, yeah, Alex Anzalone at an 81.1. You got to like that. You got to like that. Derek Barnes is having a career year so far in his 3rd year. He's having kind of a breakout year, and he is a 72 on PFF. Gosh, I'm talking over myself. And Jack Campbell really hasn't played enough yet, but he has had a decent season so far. He's got a 77.5 tackling grade. So, I mean, that's why they drafted the guy. They drafted Jack Campbell 18th overall because he can cover. He's 6'4", 250 pounds, and he's athletic, and he's a tackling machine. He's got a sack already, and because of the experience that the Lions have in the linebacking core, yes, good job, Kelvin Shepard, developing these guys. They've been able to bring Jack Campbell along a little bit slower. They don't have to rush him out there. They can have him come in a reserve and get up to the speed of the game first. So that's one of those nice little cushiony things that can happen for you. So, and thank you for the comment, Aiden. Rich says, someone will take Justin Fields and make him a very good quarterback. System is coaching staff does not know how to do that. So that's the second offensive coordinator that Justin Fields has been through. Nagy didn't really have very much success there. I mean, was definitely an offensive-minded head coach. But Justin Fields just hasn't been a good quarterback in the NFL yet. He had a good game against a very bad defense in Denver, but he still lost the game. He still doesn't know how to protect the football. But Rashni said the Bears good over here. So he's happy with the 0-4 start, and they're good. They're fine. They do have a nice future of, I mean, it's kind of the same story as last year, but you got 2 first-round picks in the next year's draft. And it might be picks number 1 and 2. So Rashnish from the John Madden-esque kind of pull that you're going to have next year. If you guys can pick number 1 and number 2 with all that cap money, it's going to be exciting again as a Bear fan, because there is some young talent on that team that's pretty good. If you can get coaching in there, and the offensive line ain't been that bad for the Bears. So I think that would be pretty exciting for the future Bears. And you guys may already be tanking for Caleb Williams. Or Bo Nix, whoever you might like. If the Vikings had a slightly better D, I'd say the Vikings. So, Calvin, I wanted to push back on that a little bit because the Vikings D showed up in the last game. They actually had a decent game. But when I was watching that game, I was actually pretty impressed with how a bunch of no-named guys on the Vikings defense were doing all right. And their main guys were doing well. Hunter's a beast pass rusher. Harrison Smith is a great safety in this league. Ivan Pace Jr., undrafted free agent, undrafted rookie, coming in, starting, and making an impact. He's a top 10 linebacker. So if any team I think the Vikings are the second best team in this division. I think Kirk Cousins is a great quarterback, and he's very underappreciated. And they got off to an 0-3 start. Being 2-2. You beat up on a Bears team, and then you barely beat a New Orleans team, and then you lost to Desmond Ridder. And you got truck stick by the Lions. I don't know. Call me crazy, but I have to go back, and I think that the Vikings are a better team than the Packers at this point, from what I've seen with my own eyes. Now, the Packers have a young team, so they have the progression getting better, right? They can get better during the season with, coaching, turning things around, and having, young players have the game slow down for them. I understand you could get better. I think that the Green Bay Packers will be much better on Thanksgiving than they were in Lambeau because they got a young team. But right now, I'm looking at these Minnesota Vikings, and the offense is good. The offensive line is good. Alexander Madison was good last week. Cam Akers, so far, looks like a good trade. Their tight ends, the guy they spent all the money on that we made fun of, they still spent too much money. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. They spent way too much money on their tight end room. But these guys are balling out. TJ Hawkinson's balling out. Oliver's balling out. So that's all you can ask out of your big name guys. So I don't know. I think the Vikings, they look okay. Cody says that 3 more touchdowns for Monty this weekend, man. We all in on Montgomery, aren't we? Isn't that nice? See, it's amazing when you can get talent and a good plan to go side by side, right? You got, there's no doubt in my mind that Montgomery was talented, right? But then you look at this offensive line that the Lions have. Last year, they allowed over 4 yards before contact was the Lions offensive line at the end of the year. 4 yards before contact. David Montgomery last year led the league along with Nick Chubb in missed tackle rate. The problem with that is behind the Bears' dog shit line, he was breaking most of those tackles in the backfield. He knew when he came here he was going to have an opportunity, David Montgomery. David Montgomery was going to come to Detroit and have an opportunity because he knew if he was breaking his first tackle 4 yards down the field, he's going to have a good year. And he's going to have a good year. They can use Jahmyr Gibbs as a chess piece. He doesn't have to be a running back. They can line him up in the slot. They can be out there together. You wait. You watch. And Jamison Williams just being out there, that's dangerous. He could just run a deep route every time and never touch the ball. Just run a deep route. And you have to defend that differently with his speed. That's going to open things up for Amon-Ra St. Brown and Laporta in the middle. So adding that speed. And then they're going to be backing those DBs off, which is going to open up for more opportunity for David Montgomery. So I love that call. You like that? Thank you for the comment, Cody. David says the biggest threat is Minnesota until we go to Minnesota and sink their Viking ship. Yeah, it's revenge. You like that? It's going to be a revenge game. The Lions have a lot of revenge games, you know. A losing franchise. We're used to losing. It's not all the time that we can come in here and say that we're at the top of the North. So I don't apologize for it, Rashnish. We're the top dog right now. Even if it is for only 2 more weeks, you know, maybe we totally crap the bed and we're the same old Lions, right? Don't give me that until you prove it stuff. They've proved it. After 4 weeks, they're 3-1, the top of the division, and I run a talk show that does daily content. So we're going to be talking about it every day while it's happening. And if your team was in first place, I'd be on here talking about how your team is in first place. So, yes, we are top dogs. Top dog. Yes. Come get some. Come get some. I love it. I love it. Put what team you're representing into the comments so I know who you are repping. Right there. Jordan says, Cousins, Jefferson. It's always a threat. In the Vikings schedule, so they could play the spoiler at the end of the season. And that's the thing. That's the scariest thing about the Vikings to me, is that is a young defense. You got a bunch of people, and then you got 16 weeks, 16 or 15 weeks before you come play the Lions. So that means that Brian Flores can implement that entire defense, and it'll be as good as it's going to be in week 16 or 15 or 16 and 18. So, yeah, they are. They definitely had the most talented wide receiver in the league on their team. Oh, yeah. It's a good comment. We're real on this show. You know, I like being a homer, and we do a little trash talking here and there, but I'm also realistic to how good the players are on the other teams. I am a Lions fan, and I will, I ride and die with the Lions, but I understand what the other teams are doing. And that offense was good last year, and with Dalvin Cook, and it's good this year, the way they got it set up. It was always the defense. They had the 32nd ranked defense last year. If they had the 20th ranked defense last year, they probably would have went deeper into the playoffs.
Playoffs?
Yeah, playoffs. So if Brian Flores can come in here and get more out of these maybe not as talented guys, because they did lose a lot of talented guys last year, in their cap out. But if they can get these guys playing average defense, that offense is good enough to win games. This team could win 10 games. Even starting out 1-3. I mean, for crying out loud, you get to play the Chicago Bears twice, Vikings. You like that? You get 2 dubs there, for sure. For sure. This is AJ on Dip Drive. He said, your mic is fine. It's the guy that's always outside. Yeah, I hate that. I have to mute it. But it is what it is. We're trying to get a budget right here. We do this because we love it, right? We don't have some big corporation that's like paying our salaries to be talking heads. We do this because we love it. And maybe someday we'll, be rich and famous because of all of it. But for right now, we come here for the love. We love talking football. We've done it every day. Now we just turn on the mic. I mean, it's been this way for 20 years for us. We're football fans, man. Michael, myself, Greg Rice. I mean, we've been watching this. We've been talking football. We haven't had too many years where we could talk good football about the Detroit Lions. So this is kind of new. We're kind of in this uncharted territory right here. You know, we feel pretty good about it. But I listen to all these Packer fans out there telling us that we're celebrating too much. We're not celebrating. We won the game. You know, whatever. We're on to Carolina. You know, we want to win this division and everything. But, I mean, we're going to celebrate our wins, guys. It's okay. They could be out. There's more Packer fans that are complaining about the Lions celebrating than there are Lions celebrating. So, that it is what it is. But thank you for letting me know, AJ. Rick, I don't think anyone is a threat to the Lions in the NFC North. No one.
You like that? I've had enough of that shit.
Yeah, we have.
You've had enough of that shit.
We've had enough of that shit. It's the truth. Come get some. There is nobody in the North that I think that could challenge us. I just wanted to kind of throw this out there so we can keep the other fan bases engaged into this, because I do think that the second place team could make the playoffs. So it is important.
Playoffs?
But I don't think that there's any threat in the NFC North right now, just because of the way the Lions are built. This isn't me homering. We're nasty up front, guys. Bring it. Bring it. We got big, nasty dudes up front that get after the quarterback, and on the other side, we run and push you out of the way, and we run the football, and we run it down your throat, and we got a coach crazy enough to go for it on fourth down to close you out. So, I mean, even if you do get a dub against this Detroit Lions team,
we're going to bite a kneecap off.
I know that's a funny quote or whatever. Oh my God, he's so stupid. He's such a football dude, biting kneecaps and stuff like that. But the thing is he's built this team. He's built this team, or I should say, Brad Holmes has built this team to have that identity. Biting kneecap.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
So that means that even if you do win, you're going to leave limping. You walk over, you limp back. You walk on over, but you limp back. I got 21 people watching on YouTube right now, and that's awesome. But only 10 of them have liked the video. So I'm not trying to bag or anything right here, but it's real easy. It's a real easy way to support the show. I mean, I'm not out here begging for money or anything like that. Trying to get people to, buy my t-shirts or anything like that. We just talk football on here, but a way that you can support is just by liking the video, right? If you're watching on Detroit Lions News, like the video, support Detroit Lions News. If you're watching on the Villain Squad, like the video. If you're watching it on the Villain Squad, Bill the Packer fan. You're watching it on there, like the Bill the Packer fan. Support these smaller content guys, right? We're not affiliated with the Detroit Lions or anything like that. They don't pay us to do this. We do this because we love it. I like football. I love my family even more. I mean, I do this. I take care of a 4-year-old autistic child that I love so much. It's the greatest gift in the world to take care of a kid with autism. And it has made me have to take my career from off the road as a musician, and here behind a camera right here talking about the Detroit Lions. But you deal with what you have. Life gives you lemons, you get lemonade, and then it just tastes so good. And actually, I add a little bit of that Honolulu blue to it. Add a little bit of that blue Kool-Aid in there. I mean, after week 4, that Honolulu blue Kool-Aid tastes delicious. It's yummy. It tastes so good. So thank you for the comment, Rick. All right. Let's see. Oh, okay, Bear Down Mike's got a report. Report out saying that Eberflus does not win Thursday against the Commander. He will be fired. Wow. Is that sad that I want to lose just to get rid of Eberflus? Eberfluk. Yeah, I mean, the Bear fans are good fans. They deserve. I mean, and the Detroit Lions are good fans too. They follow their team no matter how bad they are. So you want to have a good organization of people that bring you chances to win Lombardis. And it's not like it's not exciting. Even, I mean, we've never won a Lombardi. We've never even been to a Super Bowl before, but it's still exciting when your team's in the dance. You know, you get into the playoffs, you have that hope. You know what I'm saying? So the Chicago fans are going through a bad thing right now. We've been there before as Lions fans. You just want the higher ups to make the right decisions, to get a nice trifecta between quarterback, coach, and GM. That's what you want. That's what you want. And now you have all this capital and all this money. You got to find the right coach. You got to find people that can bring all of these people together. And that's what I think that the Lions have now, finally. It's not just this year, guys. I mean, when they picked up Chauncey Gardner, I thought that the Lions could be a Super Bowl contender because of all the stuff that they had done, but it was just on paper. And now you can see the team actually developing, and money-wise, they've got like the offensive line signed for another couple of years. This band is going to be together for a while. So what you're seeing right now is the weakest form of the Lions that you're going to see over the next couple of years, because it's going to get better. These guys that are developing in their third year that are breaking out, like Derek Barnes and Aleem McNeil. I mean, we have younger players in that are going to start breaking out next year and the year after that. They have plenty of money to pay these guys. They have enough money to pay Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell right now, and Jared Goff. They have it. Next year, they're going to have like $70 million. Brad Holmes is a wizard. I think he's the best GM in the NFL. So this isn't something that's going to stay. And this is what the Bear fans want. They want a good trifecta where they know that their coach has got a GM that's feeding them the type of players that he wants to coach. And then you have the ownership there that is backing them up. Sheila Hamp stepping back off of like decisions and bringing Chris Spielman in to make football decisions might have been the smartest decision that she ever made. That's what you need, Bear Down Mike. You need your ownership to get on the same page as your GM, which is on the same page as your coach. And right now, the coach is failing. So I feel you on you don't ever want to root against your team, but sometimes in like situations like this, your team losing may actually benefit your team long term. So I know how you feel, Bear Down Mike. Gosh, man, I feel for you. And that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, moving on. But thank you for the comment. Rob Newsom said the Vikings schedule is too tough. I tell you what, they have to win a couple games that they don't expect. Like this game against the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Lions beat the Chiefs, and they've had a couple of games where you're like, hey, yeah, is this the same Chiefs? So I don't think the Chiefs are as unbeatable as some people would say. I guess there is a chance that he's going to carve apart that young Vikings defense because, he hasn't been playing too good. So this is a good get right game for him. But it's games like this, though, Rob, that the Vikings have to win because no one expects them to beat the Chiefs. And beating the Chiefs would lead people down the path of thinking that they may be getting right. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for the comment there. Aiden says that I think the Panthers are a threat, and that's smart. And I think that the Detroit Lions know that too. Now the Panthers are a team that didn't just whip the Lions last year. They zipped the Lions last year. They whipped that ass last year, and they dominated the line of scrimmage. And that is supposed to be the Lions' strong point. So in the middle of they were on a 3-game win streak, went down to Carolina, got a little bit too big for their britches, and they got throat punched. They got throat punched by the Carolina Panthers. And it was dominated on the line of scrimmage, guys. This wasn't like, it wasn't a Jared Goff. They ran the ball all up and down on us. So it's a revenge game for the Lions, but you cannot underestimate this Carolina team. This is a Carolina team who last week took one of the better offenses in Minnesota and gave them a hard time. They gave him a hard time the whole time. Kirk Cousins had not so good of a game, but up front, they were able to hold up. They were able to hold up. So I don't underestimate this Carolina Panthers team. They are strong, and it is a challenge, but I think it's a challenge that the Lions should and they will. I think they're going to go in there with a mindset of sticking their foot on their throat and taking a reeling team that is still trying to find its identity, and the Lions know who they are. But I do think that is not a game that you want to underestimate. And thank you for the comment, Aiden. Do you think so? CR Mayo says, do you think that the Bears will trade Fields to Atlanta? Is that a thing? Is it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that sounds pretty cool. I mean, Atlanta, gosh, that running game, if they put Fields into that, and that's definitely the best offensive line that they would be playing with. You know what I'm saying? So I like that trade. I mean, what do you think they would get out of Fields right now? I mean, I wouldn't trust him as my quarterback. I wouldn't trade you capital that would like starting level capital. Like, you're not going to get like a second round pick out of him or anything like that. I mean, maybe if they traded him away for like a fifth round pick or something like that, I wouldn't pay anything for him. I mean, he hasn't proven anything more than a gadget player. I mean, he would go there, and I don't even know if he would beat out Desmond Ridder, for the starting job. I mean, that would be interesting, though. That's an interesting take. I like that. I like that.
You like that?
Let's see. What's going on, Yoli? Yeah. Let's see if we got Robert's in the house. Good morning, Robert. He says, good morning, bitches. FYT Go Pack Go. CR Mail says, I think it makes sense. I really think that Fields would benefit from this trade. I mean, it always helps leaving a dog shit team. I mean, look what it's done for David Montgomery. I mean, David Montgomery could end up having a career year here. I mean, if he keeps on having, days like that, I don't think that Green Bay is that bad of a team. So, I mean, I think that they can do that against just about anybody, because our offensive line can stand up against the best defensive lines. So, yeah, I think that makes sense. That makes sense. Who is better in the NFC this season? Let me look at some of these games right here. I think that Atlanta is one of those teams in the NFC that's better than they were last year for sure. They got the rushing attack, and they got a young team. So I'll say Atlanta. I think that you found some fool's gold when it comes to the New York Giants. Last year, I think that they overproduced out of their mind. I think that the Packers are on a downward trajectory, especially if Joe Barry can't get that defense going. So I think that those ones are on a downward spiral. Who's getting better? The Commanders, I mean, they're not very good. The Seahawks, I think, are going to end up being one of the better teams when it comes out. And the Lions got beat by a very good Seattle team. That Devin Witherspoon, wow. Something else right there. The Dallas Cowboys, I mean, I think that they're always overrated. I think that like anytime that they're even semi good, they peg them as Super Bowl contenders. And man, I don't know. I never really buy into the Dallas Cowboys. I think that the Lions are better than the Cowboys right now. The Philadelphia Eagles are who they,
But they are who we thought they were.
that's kind of where they were at. And I think the Rams are better than advertised too, because Stafford's making some magic happen right there. He's making some names out of some people with no names. But so, I mean, Rajneesh, just because here's the thing, like all the smack talking during the off season is fine. It's cool. And I get your smack talking. But this season, the Lions are the best team in the division. And that is undebatable at this point in the season because they've proven it. It's no longer on paper anymore. It's like for real. You guys have to deal with this. I mean, this might be a self-help group for you, but you seem to be the only one that doesn't really get it. I think, Robert has his, I know he doesn't like the Lions, but he's at least came to grips with the fact that the Lions are a good team. Okay. This isn't like, no, here comes Lucy again. And it's like the bully got punked out, and they got punked out on national TV. Everybody saw it. So it's not the same thing anymore. It's not the same old Lions. They've kind of proven that already. But you'll see. You'll see when we play you. Oh man. Let's see. Let me keep going here. So who do you think? You think that it is? You think that it's the Vikings? So, or do you think that it's the Green Bay Packers? Rob says that the Vikings beat a winless team. Not impressed. It is true. I got really no defense on that. I just think that Carolina is a pretty good winless team. And I wouldn't even look past them as the 3-1 Lions to go and like that is a trap game if I've ever seen a trap game, Rob. So the Vikings, I mean, that was the worst offensive output by Kirk Cousins, but the rest of the team played better. So that's what they need. Like Kirk Cousins can't be your savior. Let's see. Packers have no offensive line, none whatsoever. Well, that's injury too. I don't think that they're going to be that injured the entire season. I think they will get guys back. But thank you for the comment. At Bear Down Mike, I don't know what the hell good they see out of this offensive line. Yeah. I believe the Vikings. Jason Smith says, I believe the Vikings will become the second team in the division after time. I got somebody that agrees with me. Okay. I was feeling pretty dumb there for a second. Bear Down Mike says the Packers and the Bears are chasing after Claypool. Okay. Poles traded away a second-round pick because this past offseason there wasn't going to be top talent wide receiver through free agencies, and that's why he did it. I mean, he overpaid. That's a mistake. That was a mistake by Poles. No GM. I still think Poles is a good GM, but that particular move right there was a mistake. You make mistakes, move on from it, but I mean, Claypool is not good. He is not good. I don't think any team should trade for him or even try to get him. If they do, I think it's a mistake because he's a cancer for your team right off the bat. It almost feels like he is overprivileged everywhere he goes, where he wants some kind of special type of treatment. And then if he doesn't get his way, he starts taking to Twitter. Those aren't the type of guys that you want on your team. Do you, when the Lions fans have a day for the holidays, what do I do? When the Lions have a day for the holidays, I mean, I spend time with my family, and I hope that you spend time with your family too. Rob says that I think this week will be a breakout game for Gibbs. That could be. I've been saying that for 3 weeks. I'm not going to say it this week. You can say it this week, and then I'll give you credit for it, Rob. How about that? We'll do it. We'll do it that way. Bear down, Mike. Okay, you guys are having a conversation. I'm not going to get in the middle of you guys talking right there. Calvin says that Jordan Love is going to have to watch some of those untouchable balls, and if the receivers have to step up or not be in stride, not worry about getting receivers hurt and even interceptions. Yeah, I see his inaccuracy stands way out. I mean, the only other quarterback that's more inaccurate than Jordan Love is Zach Wilson, and that's not good company to be in. I mean, you're fortunate to be 2-2 right now, Green Bay Packers, but Jordan Love is going to have to work on that accuracy. Right now, your receivers are better than your QB. You got, I mean, Jaden Reed looks like he's good. I like Musgrave as a receiver. Yeah, Dobbs has been playing out of his mind. When you look at these PFF scores for these wide receivers, they're way better than anything you're getting from Jordan Love. So, it stands to say that, I mean, it's staying in there, but Sean Clifford's a more accurate quarterback than Jordan Love. And I think that if he got a chance to go out there the way that he distributes, that you would probably agree with me that Sean Clifford may have a better career than Jordan Love from what I've seen. He's not as mobile as Jordan Love. Jordan Love's faster, but he hasn't proven that he makes good decisions. You know, he's had some flashes of goodness, but I mean, you need more than that. You need a field general that's going to be consistent. You know, what are you going to do when it's not flash plays? Because flash plays are like 10% of the game, maybe the big flash plays. The other 90% of the game is executing the game plan, just making sure that you get the ball into the hands of your playmakers. But it's funny how Russell says the offensive line is good, and they say Montgomery played behind a bad Chicago Bears line. Yeah, because last year, the Chicago's Bears line was not good. This year, the Chicago Bears offensive line has been okay. It's been decent. It's not the reason why Justin Fields has been bad. It hasn't been the offensive line. Offensive line's been actually okay this year, but last year was not good. He was not good. So that's the difference right there. I mean, I don't know if it's still funny. Am I still coming on? I guess I'm just a dick to Rosh Neese. I'm trying to have a conversation right here. I mean, maybe you just think I'm dumb. Maybe I am dumb. But I think Montgomery's going to have a career year here because the Lions' offensive line is good. And that's not funny. Rob says, I'm not on a Love fan, but I think that he'll get better. For sure. I can subscribe to that. Rich says that defense has only allowed 65 yards a game in rushing. No other team in the division is even close. No other team in the NFL is doing that either. We have the best rush defense in the NFL and top 5 on, if you want to be a butthole about, advanced metrics and stuff, you can make cases. But yeah, 65 yards of rushing. So that's what gives me confidence in this game coming up this weekend when the Lions play the Panthers, is that last year when they lost the game to the Panthers, they ran Foreman, who is now with the Chicago Bears, rushed all over us. They dominated the line of scrimmage. This was the worst game for the Lions offensive and defensive line last year, was in this Carolina game, and they couldn't stop the run. Well, they've obviously done something different this year. So this is the number one rush team in the NFL, a rush defense. So I think they're going to be fine. I think that's a good call out right there. Right there. Yeah. Man, I appreciate you guys for watching right now. I guess we'll do the station identification type of thing right here. So I said station identification. This is the NFC North main event right here. This is a NFC North Talk with Russell Wayne. Our YouTube page, the main event 365. Right there it is, right there. You can actually use that QR code too. That thing works. It'll take you right to the YouTube page. And if you're watching on the YouTube page and you're one of the 30 people that are on there, can you please give give us a like on there? Please give us a like, because that's the juice that makes the whole thing run. Every Monday night, the King of Sting, NFC North open mic. That's where all the trash talking is supposed to take place. But everybody had been scared the last couple of weeks to come on there, and it just kind of turned into another football talk show like this. But there's really not much smack talking that's going on right now, or anything that's, worthy of smack talking. You got an 0-3 or 0-4 Chicago Bears team, a 1-3 Vikings team. There's nothing really much to brag about there. And the other team just got truck sticked by the Lions. So the Lions had a nice little 10-day window here as we finish it out to go in and play the week 5 games. But it's been a fun week. It is fun riding a victory when you're running a talk show and talking about football. I like it going through here. So what's good? What's good, A-Dub? You know what? I'm going to open this up because I feel like talking to somebody. So anybody want to come in? I'm going to throw the link in there, since the West Coast Stat Master didn't want to come on today. But anybody that wants to have a conversation, feel free to hop on. Just because I saw A-Dub on there, I figured he might want to come in and have a conversation. This is the different online Rosh niche, but this is great. Gets better. Vikings run game isn't the same. They were better in the last game. JMO and E-Man should improve both sides of the ball. Both sides are top 10. When do you project them? What do you project them to end up? JMO and E-Man. E-Man. Who are we talking about? E-Man. Is that Aman? Okay. JMO and Aman. Okay. Yes. Okay. So the way that JMO helps this offense is just in the speed, in the straight speed. I mean, JMO wouldn't even have to be throwing a pass the entire game, and he would affect the game, because you have to account for his 4.2 speed. So I don't know if he's going to get a ton of targets, or they're going to try to get the ball into his hand, because, the thing about Dan Campbell is, if he comes out,
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
and says something, it's not always what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? All right. Is this for real? Do I actually have the real Sarah backstage? Welcome to the program. How are you doing? Hello? Hello. Can you hear me, Sarah?
Can you hear me?
I can hear. Now I can hear you. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I decided to come on just because I'm sitting in the car having a cigarette, so might as well.
There you go.
No, I mean, like, our defense is young, so, I mean, we can't really ask for much more than what they're doing. And, like, I had posted in the chat, as of right now, last year we were 31st in yards per play, and as of week 5, we are 10. So we're improving, and we can't ask for much more with a bunch of young players who are either first or second year players. So this season is going to be more of a learning season for those players and whatnot, I think.
Well, the thing that I like about your team right now is because the team was so bad last year on defense that, making the improvement, like even if they were only like the 20th defense with that offense being as good as it could be, that you could win more games. I think you guys could get back to 500 or even win, 10 games even from now.
Yeah, but I guess I'm more on the side of like I know we don't have a Super Bowl caliber roster, and so I feel kind of like we need a quarterback because I mean, regardless of how old Kirk is, he is 35, and so we're going to need to draft a quarterback, and so it would be in our best interest to. I'm not saying to tank, but if we don't win any more games, I wouldn't be upset.
That is such a weird thing. And the Lions fans, we can identify with that a lot because you get into the middle of the season and, you want to compete, but then you look at your overall roster and you're like, man, what would happen if we even got into the playoffs? Are we really going to beat anybody? And I feel exactly where you're at. We were there with Jim Caldwell, where you feel like the team just kind of got to where it's going to go. And then you kind of have to either retool or, take it all the way back and start all the way over. But you're not going to compete with the big dogs like the Chiefs and the Eagles and, the higher echelon teams. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So I feel like, us going into the playoffs, sure, anything can happen.
Playoffs?
Chances are that we're going to get bounced in the first round, And so what's the point of going all the way up to get bounced in the first round and end up drafting like 2021 when we need a quarterback? And so sometimes you have to take a step back in order to go 2 steps forward and whatnot. So I've accepted, like I said the other day, I've kind of checked out of the season now because then I just don't kind of see the point of going forward when if we make it to the playoffs, we don't have a roster that's going to be able to contend,
But you don't know. But here's the thing is you don't know that, though, is because really the biggest unknowns that you guys have, right, are on defense. And if Flores can get what he can get out of these guys by weeks 16, 17, 18, when you get to the end of the season, these guys might start getting it. And then you could be a hot team going into the playoffs if you could get there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because if you guys beat the Kansas City Chiefs, because nobody expects them to beat the Chiefs, but let's say they go out and beat the Chiefs this week, does that change your mind at all?
I think it would give me more confidence that maybe we can. And like I see that like the Chiefs are more beatable than San Fran because I think we're going to get killed by San Fran because we don't have the guys up in the trenches to deal with San Fran's lines, and so we're probably going to get killed by San Fran. But with the Chiefs, as of right now, their receivers aren't producing, and so I think that with our offense, we have the chance to keep up with them in the game. It's just a matter of how our defense is going to be able to keep us in the game.
Right on. So right now I am talking with Sarah. She's a Minnesota Vikings fan. They're playing the Kansas City Chiefs this Sunday. So if you're out there listening, doesn't matter who you're a fan of, but who do you think is going to win this game? I like doing the scores. We're going to do that in we'll end up doing that tomorrow too. And for every team, but just while we're doing it right here, while we have her on here, we might as well throw some of those comments in there. Early score predictions for Minnesota versus the Kansas City Chiefs. It's in Minnesota, so it is a home game. So let me see what you think out there.
And as I was joking, I was like, well, I mean, at least our defense hasn't given up 70 points. Because I think if our defense gives up 70 points, that would break me.
If their defense gave up 70 points,
Yeah, that would break me. I would be like, I'm done for the season. I'll check back in next August because like that. I don't know. I don't know how you can come back from giving up that much points. You know.
Yeah, and those Bear fans that are out there bragging because Justin Fields put up, over 30 points on a team that got lit up for 70 the week prior. It's like, okay, that's
Yeah,
okay.
I was really hesitant, but then I was like, okay, Justin Fields is gonna play Denver Broncos defense, so you know what? I'm gonna take a chance and I'm gonna play him on fantasy, and so he did good, but I'm dropping him.
Sarah, I wanted to let you know that like you are going to make main event Mike so incredibly happy to know that you're not a dude posing as a girl, because he thought for sure that you were just like like Jamez's like burner account or something and pretending to be a chick. Like so he's going to be very happy.
Well, like in all of the chats I'm in that talk football, everybody thinks I'm a dude. I'm like, I'm not a dude. I'm a chick. It's just, like I grew up with brothers, and so I never had control of the remote control. So they always watched football. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to be watching this for like the rest of my life, so I might as well learn the game. And so that's how I became a football lover, And so now I like talk a lot of smack. Sometimes they bite me in the butt, but that's what smack talk is.
But that's
right?
what it's all about, right? You get out here, I didn't have to eat a ton of crow because my team is the best team in the division right now, but I did have to eat a little bit of crow because I had Minnesota down at the bottom. And I actually think now after 4 games that they are the second best team in the division right there. So
I was going to ask you. So, like, I know I missed your show yesterday, but I went back to rewatch it, and so I was going to ask you today. So, how did Little Crow Speak taste like? Since you ate a little bit of it,
I ate a little bit of it. I was able to put some seasoning on it and everything because I like I said, I still feel like that Detroit is the better team, but
yeah,
I did think. But I did think that I thought that, honestly, it's more of a disappointment in the Chicago Bears because I actually thought that they would be a lot better than they are. But that's a sinking ship right now. And I actually feel bad for all my Bear fan friends just because it is that bad. But I wanted you to know that we are between all of the places that we broadcast in, there's about 2,000 people that actually know that you are a girl now. So I hope that helps out your persona as I invite A-Dub to the program. What's going on, brother?
What's up?
Hi,
What's up,
So
Sarah?
this is real.
Yup, it is.
It's shocking, I bet. Oh my gosh, she is a girl.
Yeah. My wife just sent me a message that says that like I have to I'm gonna have to go here pretty soon. But I did want to ask, I do have a few minutes right here, but I wanted to know what did you want to talk about, A-Dub? You just want to come on and say hey, or do you got a specific question?
Nah, I'm just jumping on to say hello.
That's cool.
I question certain guys in the comments as far as if we are to see, as we may expect the Lions to win this division. I question them on how far should we expect them to go in the playoffs, should they get there.
Right. But I know that how they feel a lot. You don't count the chickens before they're hatched, right? They still have to go through it, but I do believe that the Lions just got done with the hardest quarter of the season when it comes to, quality of opponent. And when you look at the teams that they're going to be playing in the next few weeks, I can't pick a loss. They should rattle off the next 4 games. And that's even going to Baltimore and winning, because the way that we play defense, stopping the run like that, I think they're going to beat Baltimore too.
Like,
But
honestly, I think the Lions are better than the Eagles, because watching the Eagles this year, they have not impressed me. Every
Right.
win they've had is all squeaked out like us last year and whatnot. And they're supposed to be this big juggernaut team that you really don't have a chance. And I don't see them like that. I see them as like kind of like how we were last year, where you're just squeaking by game after game after game. And I knew it wasn't sustainable for us last year, but I mean, it was a fun ride for us. But we all knew that it wasn't going to go anywhere, you know.
But don't give up. Don't give up on this season, because I'm not just saying the things that I say just to say them. I mean, I really did see that when I was watching the tape on all of them, and really, if I was a Packer fan, there would be a couple red flags that should be, thrown up, being like, whoa, wait a minute. We thought this was going to be this and this was going to be this. Things that are happening there way more than Minnesota. Like, Minnesota's a bunch of pleasant surprises. Like, oh, wow, I didn't know he's good too. Oh, shoot. Got a couple good guys.
Yeah, like our losses this year, at least we're not getting blown out. Our losses have been.
Thank you. But I'm going to let you have the last comment, A-Dub, because I do have to hop off here and relieve my wife for kid duty here. But I'll let you have the last comment on that. What do you think that your Packers are you concerned at all?
Somewhat. I mean, the brighter side for us right now is that some of the guys that have been hurt for us are coming back. And they started practicing today.
What's the word on Bakhtiari?
There's a good chance we're not going to have him this year, especially if that knee isn't right for him, and especially if he has his complaints about the turf that we play on.
Oh, that's a huge blow right there. And that's it. When you guys are that far behind the cap, I mean, as a Packer fan, you guys don't have too many down years, but I mean, you guys could chalk it up as that, and then you come in and load up for next year and everything like that. But we'll have to see.
That's part of the reason. What you're saying now is part of the reason why my expectations on this team aren't that high. Like, I've been on record saying many times before, Green Bay is going through a season of progression and evaluation. See what you got now, build upon it with the next year that comes up.
Yep. And there you go. And that's what you got to do. So this has been NFC North Talk with Russell Wayne. This is a every morning thing for me. Like, I love talking football every single day right here. And I do believe that the Packers, going through a little bit of a mini rebuild on the fly, but they got the capital to do it. So if you're a Packer fan, you should feel pretty good about, the next 4 to 5 years, maybe not as much into this year, but you're not out this year. You're playing the Raiders this week. And tomorrow we're going to be getting into all of these, and we're going to make these picks tomorrow. And that's what we do. And I'll have Sir Slap Nasty on here tomorrow from And We Know Sports. And we're going to go through these picks. We're going to go through the last minute injuries as we do every single week. NFC North Talk with Russell Wayne each and every day at 11 a.m. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're hoping that everybody had a good time. Be safe out there, and may the Lord keep you. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again. God bless you. See you tomorrow. like to thank everybody for watching the broadcast today. Just threw the YouTube. I just threw the YouTube stream from the broadcast that we just watched into the comments. Please take the time, go over, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give us the juice that makes this thing go. This is Russell Wayne from the Detroit Lions Villain Squad and the Main Event 365. We wanted everybody to know that we appreciate every football fan that watches our content, likes our content, supports what we do. We ain't affiliated with the Lions. We ain't backed by some big corporation that pays us some big salaries to be talking heads. We do this because we love it. We love football. We love how we use football to bring our families together on Sundays. We love to sing forward down the field after every single touchdown. And we don't apologize for it. We do this because we're passionate about the Detroit Lions. We want to be the ones to say that we got to see the Lions rise to relevancy. Is this it? Are we here? Or will Lucy pull the ball out one more time?
It's not fair. They were so happy. It's not gonna be okay.
What's going on, Russell Wayne and the Main Event 365 Network? This is Jason Kabinda from the Detroit Lions. Here to give y'all a shout out, man. We appreciate all the support, man. Know you guys are big fans. Know that you guys are rooting for us to take the North this year, and we're going to do just that, man. Appreciate you guys so much. Just want to give y'all a shout out. Y'all have a great day.